Cool.
There's
Yay!
I'm in.
Yay!
right.
Sorry about that. I was telling him we do have a 500 plan, so we're not quite sure. They're calling right now to find out why they capped us at 100 today. So not very
That's
pleased.
a bummer.
Right now. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyhow, I'm going to start right away,
Cool.
and I'm just going to flip through really quick because everybody's been waiting. Not your fault, our fault entirely. So hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Nilo. I am the Director of Marketing and Outreach with Illinois Digital Educators Alliance. Thank you so much to everybody who is here today. And those of you that are not here, we're sending this video to you, so you'll be getting this with all the details later. I apologize. For some reason, Zoom capped us at 100 today, despite the fact that we do have a 500 cap. So we're looking into it, and hopefully you'll get in the middle of this webinar. But just wanted to say hi. I'm going to go over some super quick housekeeping items. Just please keep yourself muted throughout the presentation, and do me a favor, keep your video off so that John and Catherine have the spotlight video. I'm going to mute myself and turn myself off in just a second here. And then I'll be back at the end. And if you are looking for your PDHs for live attendance, we will post that link in the chat window at the end. Speaking of the chat window, everybody's been on it, so awesome. Thank you so much for the interaction. Please continue that. We are going to monitor questions throughout the presentation, and I will be looking at it, but so will John and Catherine, and we'll get to your questions, if not interrupted during the presentation, but we'll definitely get through them at the end. So without further ado, and because time is short, I'm going to turn this over to John and Catherine, and you guys go ahead. Thanks so much for joining us today, and here we go.
All right, great. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. And again, with those questions, keep them coming in the chat window. We'll try to make sure we answer those. If we miss one, just re-chat it. I don't know if that's a word. It is now. Re-chat the questions if you have it, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. So let's introduce ourselves so you know who we are. Catherine, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Catherine Capiello. You can follow me on Twitter at bookcreator/cat. Feel free to email me, catherine@bookcreator.com. I'm on the school partnerships team here. I currently live in Chicago. I am a previous former educator. I've taught kinder all the way through high school, different populations. So feel free to reach out, and I can assist you using Book Creator in any of those grades.
With
Great.
A surgery.
And just a quick reminder, if everybody can mute their screens, that would be great. I'm gonna just make sure you mute yourself so that we don't hear what's going on. And my name is John Smith. I'm the Teacher Success Manager at Book Creator. I am the iPod Teacher on Twitter, and johnsmith@bookcreator.com is my email. So if you have questions, feel free to email us afterwards. Let us know. Taught special ed for 12 years, tech integration specialist for 7, and now the Teacher Success Manager. Married, got 3 kids, so I'm sure they're going to probably pop into this video at some point. Yeah, what else? Like golf and cleaning cars. All right, moving on. That brings us to today.
Okay, so the why we're here, we all really want to make sure that students have access to some type of community. They're able to collaborate with one another, and that we can also continue what was already going on in the classroom, and that we can provide them with this real-time feedback. We also are looking for ways to teach students this virtually, and we all need assistance right now, so being able to just rely on each other. So I know that's why you are here. We're so thankful that hopefully we can help you. Brief agenda, we're gonna start with just getting started, really brief getting started. With that being said, if we have 2 other trainings that we're going to show you at the end that you can join in on, highly encourage that so you can learn other skills with Book Creator. We're going to show you how to access our resource hub, how to turn on collaboration with your students, since right now everyone does have access to that 90-day trial, how to give your students real-time feedback, how to motivate them. We'll share ideas and finalize with templates. Highly recommend that. We have a really cool surprise for everyone, and then we'll end with any questions and question and answer time.
And again, if we miss some questions, we're going to have some stop periods throughout the presentation where we'll take a look and make sure that we have those answered for you.
Well, overall, it's a scary time for all of us, for our students, for parents, and for you as well as an educator. So hopefully we can come together and collaborate to make this as best as good as it can be, right?
Right. All right. So, Catherine, I almost stole your slide. Go for it.
There you
Page.
go. Collaboration, we're good.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna work together, right? That's the big piece.
So first thing you're going to do is go to bookcreator.com. You're going to receive this at the end, so you don't need to do this exactly right now, and you need to create a free account. That link right there will push it to the screen once you get this. Create your free account, and then I think John's going to show you real quick how to do that.
Yeah, this is what that page will look like when you get there. If I go in through the book, I'm already signed in, but if you go to app.bookcreator.com, this is what you'll see. You'll see a student sign-in tab over here on the left. That is not you. You'll see a teacher sign-in tab over here on the right. That is you. Just make sure you click on teacher and then sign in with your Google Office or email, and then you will be able to get in and try out Book Creator. All right.
Cool. And then the second thing is to click on that collaboration and start your 90-day trial. Normally you have 14 days. Now you'll have 90 days. Just make sure to activate that, and you'll see that once you log in.
All right, very cool. And so we also have a really nice support document here. So I'm going to go to play mode here for a second. So we have this really nice support document. So if you click on the virus, right, if you click on the virus, it will take you to our support document. And this support document is awesome. So if you go through this, we have this whole section on guidance for home learning. All right, and then we also have daily webinars, which Catherine also mentioned a little bit. So we have getting started webinars. We have more home learning webinars, things like that coming up. So you're more than welcome to join any of those. Gives you that step-by-step directions. Catherine made a nice video about how to invite students into your account, and then QR code logins, free collaboration upgrade, more details there. But then there's a video here specifically at the bottom for students as well. So there's a lot of really good things in this document. So I highly recommend that you will that you take a look at it after this is over. And again, we will share this out with everybody. I'm going to go to single pages here real quick. We will share this document, this book, out with everybody when we are finished. I did see a couple of questions come in real quick in terms of extending the account. So the 90 days is for collaboration only. Okay, so that's we're not extending a purchase by 90 days or anything like that. It's just the collaboration features. And then so after the 90 days, then that collaboration feature will come off. And then yes, if you want to continue with collaboration, that is a part of our paid plans. All right, Catherine?
Yeah, so Book Creator can be used for any subject, any grade level. I linked right there a link to our resource hub. Highly recommend clicking on there. You can search by subject, by grade level. It can be used, and hopefully by the end of this session, you're able to see how this could be used in any classroom, any grade level. There's also a button where you can submit books or ideas. I highly encourage you to do that too during this time. It just helps teachers to get those ideas started for their class too.
And we also have some really great books that have been written by our ambassadors on varying topics, and there are so many great things in here. Differentiated learning, how to use it for social studies, things like that. Those are fantastic. So I highly recommend taking a look at those as well. All right, moving on. So I think we've already taken care of a couple of the questions that are in there, so we're going to blow right on past this stop sign, and we are going to move on to the next piece. So how can Book Creator help? All right, and for Catherine and I, we found, I think, 3 ways that we really think that Book Creator can help during this remote learning time. And the first way that Book Creator can help is through collaboration. All right, so one of the things that the collaboration feature allows is it allows students to be able to work on the same book at the same time. And so this time of, in this time when everybody's at home and they're isolated by themselves and they're not in class, having a sense of collaboration, being a part of something is hugely important. So we have a couple of samples here in this book. One of them is a project that I did called the TWIMA projects. And Basically, it started with a simple question. Can I get one classroom from every country and state in the world to come together to join in and make a book, right? I wanted to see if that was something that could be done. Tweeted that out. I had a bunch of classrooms join the very first time. It was great. So if you click this link down at the bottom right, this book, it'll show you a blog post about that. That has become very popular. Lots of people like to be part of it. And so now we're actually doing our 9th version of the TWIMA projects. And so if you click on the TWIMA document here, it's all about traditions. And so if you want to participate with your students, then you can certainly do this. And there are some directions how to sign up. There's a direction to joining a library and putting your book in there. But I would love for people around the world to come together and create this traditions book, right? And so that's one of the things that we've talked about is just finding really cool collaborative projects. Maybe it's not around the world. Maybe it's a teacher in another part of the state. Maybe it's a teacher in another state. Maybe it's a teacher in your own building who is now sitting at their house doing things, and maybe it's another classroom, right, where you can work together. There's a lot of great ways that you can collaborate. So Catherine and I are going to go ahead and show you what collaboration looks like at this point. So I am going to back out of my book and go into my edit mode. And I am going to go back to my page now. And so you can see with collaboration turned on that Catherine here is on this page. I can see her face and her name. I can see my face and name. And so we can just start adding things to the page. One of my favorite things in terms of collaboration that is how do teachers collaborate with students, especially when they're trying to give feedback and comments on student work, right? How do you do that? So Book Creator is, we have some Google-like features, but we're not Google, right? So you can't highlight words and leave comments on the side. But one of the things that I found is that teachers can leave comments in shapes. So if I add a shape to the box, great work, Catherine. Don't forget your punctuation, right? At the end, the end of the sentence, okay? So I can leave some feedback that way for students. So I think that's a really cool thing. And then when the students are done making their edits, they can either click and delete that shape, or they can leave it there so the teacher knows that the edits had been made. So I love being able to use shapes, text boxes, audio buttons, right? So if I click the plus button, media, and record, I could leave, hit start recording, gives you a little countdown. Hey, Catherine, great job on that assignment. Maybe if you could leave a little more detail about the process of photosynthesis, that would be great. All right, so I hit stop, use the recording, and now that audio button is uploaded, and here it is. So again, I can leave that kind of off to the side and leave some audio feedback. I've also seen teachers use video as feedback. So I could record a video, put that on the page, and leave that as feedback. So this is how collaboration is working, right? Catherine and I are working on the same page at the same time. Just an FYI, we do not have the ability to see a revision history. So use collaboration, it's great, but just tell your students to be careful because they can't, if something gets deleted, we can't get it back. There is no revision history. And then I see a question that comes in about adding pictures. So if I'm gonna hit the plus button and say media and import, and then I can pull in pictures. So I can pull in pictures from Google, my computer, or Drive. All right, and then if you don't want it anymore, you can just click on something and delete. Okay, so, and again, Book Creator, our Getting Started webinar is going to be a much deeper dive into all of the features of Book Creator. All right, and so
John, do you want to show them real quick how to turn on collaboration for their students?
Yep, absolutely. So once I'm in a library and I create a book, all right, so here's our book. Down at the bottom, underneath, there's a share button. And if I click the share button, there's an option here. Now it says stop collaboration because we already had it turned on. But if right there, it would say start collaboration. So I click start, and then it now opens that book up to anybody who's part of the library. So any student who's in the library has the ability then to edit the book that we're in. All right, great. So let me go back to Pages View here and figure out where we were. Here. All right. So I think we answered most of those questions that we have seen so far.
Can you have more than one library?
So with our paid plan, you do have the option, paid plans, I should say, we have 2 of them. You do have the option to get more libraries. With the free version, you get 40 books, 1 library. If you are done with those books in that library and you want to archive the library, you can do that. And now you have 40 more books that you can use and work with your students. But the paid plans, the next step up has 3 libraries, and then the highest plan has unlimited libraries. So the ultimate in flexibility on that one. All right, and Catherine is putting some of that information into the chat window.
We'll send this after so you have access to it too.
Great. All right, and so the next thing that we feel is really important with Book Creator is communication. And so in our book here, we have a couple of links that talk about whether or not students can see other students' work in the libraries. And there's a link there, you just click on it and it will give you step-by-step directions. We did talk a little bit about adding audio hotspots to a page so that teachers can leave feedback. But I think the other thing that's important is being able to invite parents to join in and share with their kids, what's going on in classroom. We don't have a parent account specifically, but when the teacher creates the account and then invites students to join the library, I highly recommend that parents participate, log in with the kid, and be able to see what kind of work they're doing in the classroom. So I think that's a really powerful feature and really powerful ideas, getting those parents involved with the students. All right, and so I think we already covered some of this, Catherine. I may have jumped the gun a little bit earlier in terms of communication, but again, being able to add the audio hotspots, being able to add a video. So here, I'll show a video real quick. So if I go to Media and Camera and then click on Record Video, as a teacher, I can leave some feedback for a student, or maybe even leave some questions that I want students to answer. So we'll go ahead and give a little video. Hey, good morning, class. I hope everybody's doing well. Here's what I'd like you to try today. In the page below, I would like you to make a 4-panel comic explaining how life has been since you've been stuck at home instead of coming to school. So be creative, add some videos, add some hotspots, but have some cool stickers, but let's have fun. Make a 4-panel comic sharing how life has been at home. So just hit stop and you use the video, and now I get that video put onto a page. So students, again, they can watch the video. I can communicate with them. They could probably leave video for me backwards. If they wanted to leave a video for me, they could. Or they could answer my question and do the 4-comic panel page and answer that question for me.
Do you want to show how to embed something real quick? Because I think that's a great way for communication. I know a lot of teachers right now are recording themselves doing a lesson, and I just want to show you real quick how you could embed that. So if you were to create that on YouTube or so forth, you could actually embed that right on there. We will get to that more so in the Getting Started with Book Creator webinar, but I think it might be nice to show that real quick.
Excellent. So if you click the plus button and click Media, the next tab down is Import. And to the far right of Import is an Embed feature. And so with the Embed feature, like Catherine said, basically anything that has an embed code, you can put into Book Creator. So if I click, if I go to YouTube here, for example, it's always an easy one to get to. Now, let's see if I can move my tabs just to make sure I don't have the volume crazy loud here. You're the first. All right, so with a YouTube video, underneath the video, if you click Share, there's a button that says Embed. So there's the embed code. If I copy that whole thing and then go back to my book, I can paste that code in there, confirm the link, and now that video is in my book. So I click on Add to Book, there's the video. So when I click play, it just automatically plays. All right. And what's really nice about embedding YouTube videos, specifically, no commercials at the beginning, no commercials at the end, no comments underneath, and none of that sidebar stuff, which is where kids usually get into trouble. We have an entire book on embedding. So Padlet, Soundtrap, Flipgrid videos, Explain Everything, YouTube, Desmos calculators, anything that has an embed code, you can put into a page in Book Creator. All right, so that's really, really cool. And I did see a question there, do students make the 4 panels all on one page? So if I click the plus button in Comics, there's a panel section right here. And so I can choose a panel style, and it automatically just goes right into the page. Depending on how you're doing this, if you want all kids to collaborate on the same book, then each kid would make a separate page, right? 4 panels for John, 4 panels for Catherine, 4 panels for whoever. That would work. Or the other option is everybody creates their own book, and then they are able to you can combine them all at the end, and we can talk about that a little bit later. Okay, great. All right, here we go. So that, I think we've already answered this. Can we embed MP3 that does not have a web code? So there is an option here. So if I click the plus button, media and import, you can import files. And so if your MP3 is a file on your computer, you can upload that file directly to the page, and it will look like a little play button. All right, so that was really cool. All right, and I think we're good. Catherine, are we good on questions there?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, moving on to the next page. For me, one of the biggest things about Book Creator, and one of the biggest things that's important right now as students are working remotely, is motivation, right? I work from home. I look out the window. It looks fairly sunny. All I want to do is go golfing, right? So the motivation is sometimes a difficult thing. And so I want to make sure that we talk about motivation here a little bit. So when you are in Book Creator, I have when you're in our book that we made for you, excuse me, there are 2 links here that talk about publishing student books. So publish individual books, or if you click on a library, you can publish an entire library. And the reason I want to talk about this just briefly is that for me, this was the only reason that I could actually get kids to do any writing. All right, and so the motivation was great, and it's because Book Creator is simple and really amazing. So my story, I'm just going to briefly share it. My story started with a group of students, all right? And those students are right there. And they look happy, and they look kind of smiling. You know, they're look like they're excited about learning, but don't let them fool you, because they were not. they were not happy kids. Matter of fact, these aren't my kids. These are some Google kids. I don't even know whose kids these are. But I found them on Google because they were happy, and they looked nothing like my own students. And they had a problem, though. The problem was they just didn't care about anything, and specifically they didn't care about writing. So I was trying to figure out why there was such hatred for writing and what I could do to fix that. So I tried journal prompts, and I tried different things, you know, like normal journal prompts. They hated those. I tried gross journal prompts, you know, like, hey, kids, we're going to be dogs today. Pretend like you're a dog. When you wake up, you lick your butt. What happens next? Kids weren't excited about that either, right? They're like vomiting in the background. So that didn't work. So I tried everything, and I felt like this boxer here, right? I felt completely knocked out. But then I found Book Creator. And when I found Book Creator, I shared that with the kids, and they still weren't excited enough yet. But when I told them that I was going to take their writing and I was going to publish their writing for the global audience, that changed the way that their minds worked. They were excited about it, right? So instead of publishing or writing something just for the teacher, they were able to write something that the whole world could read. And that was really cool to them. So it gave them a chance to have an audience that was bigger than just you, the teacher. It gave them a chance to work on something together, to collaborate, and it gave them a chance to leave behind a legacy, something that these students left behind, something they made that is going to benefit somebody else. All right, so that was a really big piece of the puzzle for me. So motivation is great. So again, when you're in these situations where we have kids at home and parents at home, it becomes difficult. And so finding something as simple and as Book Creator and as motivating as Book Creator makes a huge difference. Okay. All right. Cool. So how we doing, Catherine? Any questions there? We good?
I'm answering them. You're good.
Awesome. So a few ideas from our team. Catherine, I'll let you keep answering. I'll go ahead and take this one this time since you're still answering questions. A few ideas from the team. Graphic novels. Right? Graphic novels can be used for just about anything. I've seen historical graphic novels where students can, they write from the perspective of a couple different characters, and they have a conversation in comic form between a couple of historical people. Daily check-ins, right, I think is a great idea. How are you feeling today? And we're going to show you some templates later today that you might be able to use for this. So almost an ability a way for students to create these digital daily journals and logs of learning. Using it for review, all right? You've got tests coming up, maybe not right this minute because of home learning and things like that, but maybe you've got some tests coming up. Can kids make a book telling what they've learned in that chapter so that they can practice what they learned before they have the test? Can a teacher create a study guide with interactive videos and audio and things like that that will help the students really grasp that concept. And one of the things that I'm really fascinated with, and I think it might take a little bit of time, but being able to create an author hour. So every student creates their book in your library. Jump on a Zoom call or Skype or whatever, Google Hangouts or whatever, and have kids share their stories with the rest of the class and make it this author hour where everybody's reading their stories and sharing. I think that would be a really great idea. All right. And then so we do have an example. Catherine, do you want to put that link into the chat?
Sure. So this link that I'm going to put into the chat is a really cool idea that one teacher I've been working with in Illinois, actually. She created these for her students as ReadAlouds. So just take a look. You can click on that link. I think, sorry guys, my messages are a little different than usual. It's not going correctly. Okay, there it is. If you want to click on that, look at it. It's just an example to do a read aloud, and it has all the features up there. I think John has it on the screen. Perfect. So if you click through, they were able to, obviously they talked to the author first, and the author allowed them to do this. So especially during the current situation right now, they have different extension activities that the teacher created. They just snapped a picture of it, uploaded it, and did the read aloud the whole way. So you could also translate it in different languages and so forth. So just an idea to share. I know a lot of teachers and schools, especially librarians even, doing this. It's just one idea that you could think about during this time.
Awesome. Very cool.
There's a few people asking about the Bitmojis. What we have is we just have the Chrome extension. So if you have that on there, if you already have a Bitmoji account, you can just drag those over and search them and put them on the pages.
Yeah. I've also seen a few comments saying that, is there a guide, something to help me? There's a lot of great information here. Yes, we have lots of guides on our support page. So support.bookcreator.com is a great place to go for step-by-step guides. But the other thing that we would like to keep in mind here is that this is really just kind of an overview of how we see Book Creator being used for remote learning. Our Getting Started with Book Creator webinars are definitely more in-depth, and it will show you all of the features specifically. So definitely want to take that, and it's also going to be recorded. So don't forget that you can go back and look at this video later. All right, so one of the other things that we want to talk about are templates. So Catherine?
Yes, okay, so templates, some of my favorite right now. We're going to show you how to actually copy a template and share that with your students. But since this just released today, I thought I'd start here. We just released a really awesome activity book that we put together. So when you'll receive this after, you're just going to click on, if you want to go back a page, just click on that activity book. When you click on the activity book, it's going to take you to the page where you can access this. This book, what's really nice is you can just click on it, click on the instructions, and it's going to instantly be uploaded right into your library. This template is a great way to start with students. I would even start maybe with just an About Me template, start really simple and small, and then you can share this with them. They'll make a copy of this in your library, and then there's over 50 activities that they can play with and do. They can always delete a few pages if they don't want to do those ones or so forth, but it's a great way for students just to engage with Book Creator and as an extension of their own learning. So you can look at there, that's just an example. It goes through just practicing all of the different features. And it's a great thing just to send to families right now too, because here's an option, they can play around with it. There's things for all grade levels in there. I highly recommend you check that out. And then John's going to show you how to access our template library that we've created. Please add templates into that library too, and we have some to share with you too. So he'll show you right now.
All right, so in our template library, this is just a library we created. I'm going to click the invite code here. I'm going to copy that and I'll paste that into the chat. Now, you will get a chance to get this book and get more information. We'll send a follow-up email later, so you'll be able to do this as well. But this is a template library that we have. And I think what's really cool about this is there's some good examples in here of how you might be able to use something as a template with your students. So this big book of activities, right? This is a fantastic book. I'm certainly not as skilled, right, as our designer was in putting this together. And so I just created a very simple getting to know you template. Now, at this point in the year, we may not need to get to know our students. We should probably already know them by now, but this is something maybe you could use at the beginning of next year, or use the same idea, but be able to use it in a different kind of way, depending on what the situation is now. So there's a template. So when students, or when you join our template library, all you have to do is say, oh, I like this template. So click on the books at the bottom and click copy book. And when you click copy book, you can choose which library you want to put it into. So you're going to put it into one of your libraries, and then you're going to be able to then edit that book. So we've got that one. I did a remote learning journal kind of thing. And again, I have no skill whatsoever when it comes to designing templates or whatever, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. It's just the idea of it that is so really cool. So we've got a table of contents. If you click on it, it takes you to certain pages. And then we just have comics, describe your learning situation. When do you learn best? What can you personally do to make remote learning actually work for you? All right, so I just made a couple of little pages there. And then Catherine made this one, documenting history, right? The COVID-19 pandemic. So the students can click inside the date and add the date to it. They can add their own name to this as well. And then we have, where are you in the location, your definition of pandemic, location when you first heard about things. And then the next page, I really like this page a lot. How am I feeling today? And in the news, what did I hear? 3 things I can control, 3 things I can't control. All right, these are really good questions to be able to help with your students. All right, so I'm going to click back. And again, we have this activity book. So students would join your library, make a copy of the activity book, and be able to work from that. I think this activity book is a really good example of ways that you might be able to use your own content area to create something similar to what this activity book looks like. So it could be a math activity book. It could be social studies. It could be any kind of activity book you can make with your students. Okay, so I think that's a really cool thing with templates. So basically, basic idea, you create a book, put it in your library, students join your library, make a copy of the book, and now they can edit that template and they can begin working in there. All right, and back to our book. Let me find out what page I'm on here. All right, so we talked a little bit about the templates and how to make those. Any questions, Catherine? Where are we at?
Yeah, we have some questions, but keep going. I'm just answering.
Okay.
A lot of teachers are feeling, I guess I can announce it to the group. A lot of you are feeling very overwhelmed with a lot of information. Just to regroup real quick, remember this webinar is specifically just to show you ways that you can use Book Creator for remote learning. I'm sure you're feeling, well, how do I do this step by step? I highly encourage you to attend 2 upcoming webinars that we have partnered with IDEA to do as well, the 15th and the 16th. These are promoted right now on these slides. You're going to get all this after with some additional step-by-step guides. Just focus as, okay, this is how I could use this, but there are additional chances for you to learn the nitty-gritty details too.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so what are some of your ideas that are going through your head? How might you be able to use Book Creator in just the short amount of time we've spent with it today? What could you do?
You can just put these in the chat window, and then I will actually write them down right on here through collaboration.
All right, awesome. I'll read them off to you here, Catherine, once they come through.
Okay.
Class yearbook. You know what? I absolutely love this. I'm glad you said class yearbook already, Kim. I think this is fascinating. I'm always interested in how people use Book Creator in different kinds of ways. And so using Book Creator to replace a yearbook that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, I think is a great idea. I actually have a sample yearbook that I made, and it just uses comic panels that I resized and kind of moved around the screen. So I think that's a great idea. If you need more information or you want to see that sample, Kim, let me know. Email me and I'll be happy to send it to you just so you can see what it looks like. ReadAlouds, read aloud activities, absolutely. Linda says, I find it's best to browse through a new app or program to discover what one can do. Absolutely. You know, everybody's going to be a little bit different, and you're going to be able to get different pieces out of it when you get in there and push buttons. You know, kids, they're not afraid to push buttons. They'll just click on the plus button and start adding stuff. So definitely, I think that's a great point. If I were a superhero, I think that's a great type of idea for an activity. Science, taxonomy, classifications with special ed class. Absolutely, fantastic. With Book Creator, if you created a template, you could create drag and drop, right? Add things to different taxonomies and classifications and sorting. I think that would be fantastic. The differences, right? Teaching differences between two squares or anything for that matter. Absolutely. Writing club. Love the idea of writing club. Multiple point of view narratives. Yeah, absolutely. You could have, maybe you could write one group of students writes a comic book from, I don't know, what's the only thing I can think of right now is Donald Trump's point of view, and one from whoever the Democratic point of view is going to be, right? So you could create like these political books where you're talking about, depending on your age, multiple point of view from different story points. One of my favorite books is like The Three Little Pigs, but there's one that's written from the viewpoint of the wolf, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of the viewpoint of the pigs. So whatever book you might be reading in class, you could have kids create another book that goes from a different viewpoint than the book that you're reading. I think that's great. Book talks, absolutely. Sheena, we have lots of librarians and media specialists around the country and world that are using Book Creator to create book talks and even book reviews. So you could publish the review online, make it into a little QR code, slap that into a book, and when a kid goes to the library, they can click on or scan the QR code and read the review. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. Invite students to make books so you can model for the teachers. Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Birthday books for kids. Yeah. My wife wants to do like a travel journal too, right? So here's a book about my daughter's birthday that's coming up on Friday. Here's a book about her trip to SeaWorld, right? Or whatever. Staff to share with students. I love that idea. So a staff book, getting to know the staff, and you share that out with your kids so that coming up, you know, now or even going into the school year, here's what our staff is all about. Great. Famous piece of art. Yeah, graphic novels talking about artwork. Graduation documentation type books. Yeah, great idea. Let's see here. I'm trying to graphic novels. Harry Potter unit. So I can see creating a book to collaborate as a class on story elements and vocabulary. Love the idea of visual vocabulary. All right, and being able to have imagery and definitions and things like that. I'm trying to keep. You guys are on fire right now. Awesome. I might add. I cannot keep up. Elementary buddies, yes. I had high school kids write children's books for younger kids, right? So that could be something. Tell the ending to a story. Yeah, the COVID-19 class of 2020 quotes and pics. Absolutely, right? Make your own yearbook because a lot of these things aren't going to, things aren't happening like normal. Instructional books, yes. Recipe books, how to change a flat tire if you're like a career tech teacher in the automotive class, or how to frame a wall if you're in the construction trades class. Okay, great. Digital portfolios, yes. A PE workout log, yes. I love that idea. Journals, who's your hero, school transitions.
I think the recipe book is awesome too. I saw one school doing a COVID-19 edition. So each student picked their favorite recipe so far that their parents have been doing, and they had that on a library on their school page too. Really cool idea.
So you guys just slammed it there. Some great ideas, and our apologies if we didn't get everybody's idea onto the page. But I love it. School transitions, letter sounds, fantastic. My daughter's in kindergarten. She uses it for sight words. So a lot of great things that you can certainly do with Book Creators. So fantastic ideas. Keep them coming. On our site, if you go to bookcreator.com, we do have a little tab at the top that talks about the COVID-19. And if you click the Learn More button, down at the bottom of that page, there's a whole slew of live tweets that are going on talking about how to use Book Creator. So definitely love it. Interactive science journals. If I were a snowman, yep, absolutely. Yeah. Love these ideas. These are fantastic. So I can't wait to see what your students think of as well. In this book, we also put together some of these ideas from other webinars that we've done. So podcasting, TED Talks, Google field trips, things like that. lots of great ideas. You'll have access to view these once you get these books. So I kind of cheated. I put this in ahead of time. I figured you guys would have great ideas, and my mind is blown. You did not disappoint. So I really appreciate those fantastic ideas that you came up with. So the first thing I'm doing after social distancing, right, is getting into this. So this is really cool. Again, continue to share your ideas. We did share that library code with you for templates. If you do come up with some really cool templates, dump them into that library. We'd love to see them. We'd love to share those out. So make sure you check those out as well. And let's see where we're at. So any other questions? We're going to leave a couple minutes here for live questions. So if you have something, throw them into the chat here real quick, and we will go ahead and answer those as best that we can. And let's see here. Students get the ability to add to a teacher's book if we did a large class book. So 125 people collaborating. Is that possible? It is. One of my favorite collaborative activities I did was a 26.2-hour Twitter chat marathon where we did a book. And so I think there were hundreds of people joining into that book, and they were able to all add pages. Is there a limit to the number of pages? Not really. I think the answer is 6,000. So short answer, no. Long answer is if you make like 6,000 pages, you might get to a limit. But other than that, no. How do we combine books? So I saw that question come through. So once you're in your library, if you've got a whole pile of books at the end, if you click the book icon down at the bottom, click Combine Books, and then you're just going to choose the books that you want to put together. Hit Next. I'm not going to do this. It's going to take a little bit of time. Give it a title, and then hit Create Book. And what it does is it takes all of those books and sucks them into one, and it makes a really nice book. This is really helpful, especially if you have kids that you're worried about collaborating in the same book. Have them all make their own books, combine them at the end, and then you'll have this one giant book at the end, which is really awesome. And again, some of these specific getting started things with Book Creator, we do have those 2 webinars coming up, which will be awesome. Okay, so I really want you to think about those as you will. Can you share the code invite to the template library again, please? Yes, so that code to join a template library, Catherine, do you have that handy?
Yeah, give me a second. It's also going to be emailed out to you just right after this too. But yes.
It's right here. Hang on a second. I just found it. So
sorry, I'm trying to add all these to the.
And don't forget, a copy of this chat file will be sent as well. So everything that's been in the chat file is also being recorded.
Gotcha. Great. Yeah, the combined feature, Barb says, is awesome. I can't let my high school students work together without direct supervision. I got it. I get that. I get that and understand that completely. So I'm here. I understand. I have the free version. Where do I go to get the free trial started? So will my book be accessible to all my students? So again, it's not necessarily a free trial. What we're doing is we're giving you the 90 days of collaboration. So if you have the free feature or the free version of Book Creator, if you click the share button at the bottom on a book, it'll say start collaboration. And if you click that, it's going to say, do you want to start your 90-day trial? And you say yes. And that's just 90 days for the collaboration. And there are some video tutorials. Those will also be sent out in the link, Kim, specifically for students. Catherine did one for students a while back, which is really good. And we have a lot of great videos on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search Book Creator, you'll see a lot of awesome videos about how to use this. The books can be downloaded. So underneath, if I click the share button, we have the ability to publish online, collaborate, download as an ebook, which comes down as an EPUB file. Now you will need something that's going to be able to read that. So books, Apple Books, Book Creator, that will be able to read those. And you can also print these books out. Basically, it's just a PDF that you can print out. And then I've had some schools take those and send them to like a print shop at school and at the high school, and they make them into hardbound books. The iOS, I did see this a couple times going through here, and I'm sorry we didn't answer this. The iPad version is completely separate from the Chrome version, the online version. So some of the features that are on the online version are not on the iPad. However, if you avoid the iPad app and just go to Safari, you can have your students log in through Safari and do the online version by joining your library that way. So it just depends. If you've already paid for the app, keep using the app. If you haven't downloaded the app and you want to try this on an iPad or something, you can certainly do that. You just got to use Safari. All right, I think we've got some of those questions in there. Okay, what happens to the books?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what happens to the books if they're published online? Are student authors identified? It is safe to do this, okay? Now, I'm going to say it's safe to do this. We're, COPA and FERPA and GDPR compliant. We're all of that stuff, right? We take privacy very seriously. Here's the issue, though, with publishing, not issue. If the student puts identifying information in the book and you as the teacher publish it, then that information is out there. So you need to be careful with that. Students can publish on their own, but you have to turn on that ability. I don't recommend that right away because of privacy issues, but you can certainly publish books for them. You as the teacher then can get that link and share that link with parents, community members, whoever you want to share it with, but only the people with the link are able to view it. So I can't go to Google and search for this book and find it, all right? So you're not gonna be able to do that. But definitely keep that in mind as you are publishing books with students. Talk to parents about it. Always gave a little permission slip when I published student work, and the parents just ate it up. All right. Can we limit who sees the book to just the class? If you invite students, I'm going to say yes with a big asterisk on this. If I send a link home to parents and say this is just for class, if mom goes to the hair salon and shares that link with somebody else, then somebody else can view it, right? So you just got to be careful with who sees it. Invite students to join your library so they can see books and view the books, and you don't necessarily have to publish, but it is very powerful. All right, well, we are quickly running out of time. If you have more questions, please feel free to send those emails to Catherine and I. Again, I'm John Smith, at the iPod Teacher on Twitter, johnsmith@bookcreator.com. And then we've got Catherine down there, bookcreator_cat, and Catherine at bookcreator.com. We're always here to help answer those questions. And I'm going to click to the next slide, and I think we're going to hand it over.
Perfect. So thank you so much, both of you. This was amazing, as you can tell from the crazy group chat today. I love all the interaction. So thank you to everybody who participated, even in the chat today. That was awesome. So just a few quick things coming up, our other idea webinars, just a few of them right now. Next Wednesday is a webinar with Tech Girls on how educators can inspire girls to pursue tech. So they have some awesome virtual courses and clubs that you could run right now, especially while we're doing this remote learning. So definitely go on our website and register for that one coming up next week. And then if you can click to the next one. We mentioned this several times already, but Book Creator is going to be back in 2 weeks. And this one's going to be a 2-part series. On the Wednesday of that week at noon, we are going to do a webinar on getting started with Book Creator. So this is going to be all your questions that you guys have been asking today, all the nooks, the crannies, the ins and the outs of working with Book Creator. And then once you learn all of those things, the next day, we are going to be running another webinar, but this one's going to be an interactive 1 book in 1 hour project. So John and Catherine are going to have everybody who's with us collaborate on a COVID-19 edition of Book Creator. And so that's going to be a really cool activity, a really cool interactive webinar for everybody to participate in. So definitely go on our website. I put the link in a few times already in the chat. It will be in the chat file afterwards, but definitely go on and register for those 2 events. We'll send you one Zoom link. We'll use the same one the 2 days in a row. So you just need to register the one time for both events. And then last but not least, if you go to our
Zoom wants to fight with us. It's coming. It's coming. Wait for it. Wait for it.
There we go. If you go to our Ideas for At-Home Learning page, if you haven't been there yet, we're recording all of our virtual office hours that we're running right now. We're running 2 a day, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, on just with idea coaches, with Apple, Google, Microsoft. Our webinars, we're putting everything in that one spot for everybody to find it easily. So definitely please check out the resources. We keep adding literally every night to that. So lots of good stuff. It looks like Lindsay just put the PDH in. I'm just going to flip it in again. We've got your 1 PDH for attending today. This link will be available till midnight, so please click on that now and fill out your forms and all that good stuff so that we can get you credit for attending today. And other than that, if you don't have any other questions, or if you do, please put them in. We'll sit here for a few more minutes. And thanks to everybody for attending. Sorry for those of you that were not able to attend today. And if you're looking for the video, as soon as everything processes and goes back and forth with processing to YouTube and everything, I will get those out either later this evening or first thing tomorrow morning. So it will include all the resources that John and Catherine were mentioning as well. So John and Catherine, thank you so much. This was awesome. I'm very much looking forward to the other two in 2 weeks. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Yep, I'll stick around here for a few minutes as well.